Hello again, everyone, and welcome back to another episode. So, we're continuing our series of booking the Yes Movement in TEW 2020. We're up to part 7, and it's Extreme Rules time. We've made it to the pay per view, not premium live event as of yet. So, let's just have a quick rundown of the card. Hopefully, you guys on the run up can make your predictions, and we'll see what happens. So we've got Ziggler versus Del Rio for the World Heavyweight Championship. Del Rio and Ziggler had a kind of face-and-face kind of booking to start off with. Obviously, pre the save, Del Rio had the championship and Ziggler cashed in on him, and then I took over the booking from there in TEW. Del Rio, there was a kind of a jokey thing going on around getting the Del Rio getting the title back at Extreme Rules. Del Rio defeated Swagger in a number one contendership match to confirm this, that he would be getting the shot at the pay per view. And then in the tag match on the previous Raw, Del Rio turned on Ziggler, and I kind of didn't build it up as much, but yeah, he had him in the armbar and he wouldn't let go. He pretty much lost it, and Ricardo didn't really know what to do. He's still a babyface at the moment, so we'll see how that transpires going forward. We've got our Fatal 4-Way to combine the United States Championship and the Intercontinental Championship. So we've got Ambrose versus Miz versus Barrett versus Kingston. Ambrose beat Kofi for the United States Championship on an episode of Raw, and Barrett has the Intercontinental Championship as he had previous to the save. So that's an interesting one. Which way to go? What you pick? Next, we've got Brock Lesnar versus Triple H inside a steel cage. I forgot to mention the last two matches are Extreme Rules matches. Lesnar versus Triple H in the cage. Obviously, Lesnar was fuming that Triple H beat him in Mania. Heyman's been his mouthpiece and he's been in training. He's never seen him so angry. He's going to rip Triple H apart inside the cage. So, yeah, who's your pick on that one? Oh, interesting. Next up, we've got the tag team championship match of Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins of the Shield taking on Team Hell No, Daniel Bryan and Kane. So Rollins and Reigns and Ambrose have been really strong, getting lots of victories, causing havoc for Daniel Bryan and Kane. Bryan got picked to be in the mini tournament that Stephanie Mann set up to become to challenge John Cena for the WWE Championship. Unfortunately, he lost. It was Kane's fault. Kane tried to stop the Shield interfering and ended up hitting a big boot on Bryan, who then lost to CM Punk in the final. But they're on the same page. And in the last few weeks, Kane has been. He suffered a loss to Dean Ambrose, but then he beat Roman Reigns. Bryan lost to Seth Rollins, thanks to interference from Roman Reigns. But Kane has saved him on a number of occasions, and they've hugged it out afterwards as they continue their Team Hell No tactics. So, who's your pick for that? Cool, nice pick. See if that works out for you. AJ Lee and Caitlyn will go 1-on-1 for the WWE Divas Championship. AJ Lee has had loads of issues with the Bella Twins after AJ became the number one contender, and the Bellas have been causing, well, for Caitlyn as well, they've been buzzing around, annoying them. So yeah, we'll see if how this match goes. And who's your pick for that? Cool. Right then we've only got 3 more matches, and then we'll get into the show. I promise. Randy Orton versus Chris Jericho. Daniel Bryan was attacked. We still haven't found out who did that. Before his, it was the week before his final match with Punk to decide who was the champion. obviously the Shield was suspect. Randy Orton was a suspect. Kane was like relentless in trying to find out. Even John Cena had cleared his own name. Uh, Kane was attacking people randomly backstage. Jericho was the one who suggested it was probably Orton because Bryan had got a match with him in the tournament coming up. But Orton basically said it wasn't him, but it would seem like something he would do. But he told Jericho to pretty much watch his mouth. He then attacked him with a chair, and they've both been brawling back and forth. Jericho hitting a code breaker at the end of the previous episode. So that match is going to be also under Extreme Rules. Sheamus versus the Big Show. They were tearing it up backstage after they had a WrestleMania match with Randy Orton in a 6-man tag, and they all blamed each other for losing. Sheamus blamed Big Show, who had knocked both Orton and him out after the match. And they'd been brawling backstage and whatnot and destroying the area and get like always just getting in each other's face. And Stephanie was like, "Right, you two have got a match at Extreme Rules. You're not allowed to touch each other until." They even had a tag match where they were on opposite sides, but if they were tagged in together, they weren't allowed to touch each other. Shaw has been goading Sheamus to hit him. Sheamus even faked doing it. Big Show has punched out the Miz in front of Sheamus. It's been quite a feud for these two. So they're in the prior to the main event, and John Cena versus CM Punk in an I Quit match is the main event for the WWE Championship. Paul Heyman came back on the last episode of Raw. Even though he hadn't been seen since WrestleMania, Punk had already said he hadn't heard from him, even though he'd been doing video conferences and showing up with Brock Lesnar at WWE headquarters. But now he wants to be in his corner. He got Punk out of a match with The Shield, in which John Cena and Daniel Bryan went on to lose because they didn't have time to get another partner. And so Punk wants the WWE Championship back. He won the tournament. He beat Daniel Bryan in the final, and so he'll get his match with Punk. It was Paul Heyman who suggested the I Quit match, but there's been they're not on the same page. It seems Punk doesn't want him to do anything for him. He just sort of just stands there with Punk. So we'll see what comes of that. Right then, with that, guys, let's get into it. So we're on the pre-show now of Extreme Rules. We have Alicia Fox versus Natalya versus Layla versus Tamina Snuka, and it gets a 44 rating, and Layla picks up the win. Pretty obvious why I did that, really. She's the most over there, and the other girls are nowhere near her level. So giving her a win on the pre-show. But the other girls all need experience because they're quite young. We then have a tag team match pitching 3 of our top teams. Legacy of Cody Rhodes and Ted DiBiase, who recently returned to teaming together, and Babyfaces defeated the Outlaws and the Usos, picking up a win there. I guess a 53. We have Mark Henry defeating R-Truth in a pretty straightforward match. Mark Henry wins with the World's Strongest Slam. We have John Cena comes out to the ring to hype up the match. This is still on the pre-show. Stephanie McMahon comes out to make sure that there is no one else to come out and interfere, and Paul Heyman is allowed in the corner. He's got his management's license and whatnot. And Cena hypes up the match, saying he's going to have one hell of a match with CM Punk, and that he's goes by hustle, loyalty, respect, and he does not quit. We start the show off with Dolph Ziggler and Alberto Del Rio. We've still got the pairing of Del Rio and Ricardo. Del Rio's a heel, Ricardo's a face, but we will sort that out. That is part of the story. Big Ziggler's got that flavour of the month. Ziggler retains with a zigzag. and that was under Extreme Rules. We have the Shield backstage. Sierra Hotel India Echo Lima Delta. The Shield. There we go. They are talking about leaving the Extreme Rules with all the gold. They do all their other spiel. It gets to 77. Dean Ambrose is the WWE Intercontinental and WWE United States Champion. We will vacate the United States title and not be using it for a while yet. I don't like too many titles unless I've got the brand split, which I do like a brand split, but for the purposes of this story, it's until we build some extra stars up or bring more in. It's probably best just to keep it as is. But Ambrose gets the win here. We get a video package hyping up the main event of Punk and Cena's I Quit match and Lesnar and Triple H's cage match, which is up next. That gets an 89. Wow, I didn't expect to be getting those type of ratings, but these two guys are super over. But that 89 is fantastic. Brock Lesnar, I did say he was going to dominate this match. That was the plan. He does pretty much have the majority of the match. Triple H does get a little bit of offense in, nearly escapes over the cage, has to come back in, goes for a pedigree. Brock hits an F5. He hits another F5, and then he puts Triple H in the I can't remember his clutch is called. He puts him in his submission hold. I think it's a Kina clutch. He goes to escape, but Triple H obviously sticks up the V's, pisses Brock off. Brock comes in, hits another F5, and pins him clean. And gets an 89. Then we have Daniel Bryan hyping up the match, psyching Kane up, even though Kane just, I've put states, but he stares menacingly into the camera. He's in another zone. Daniel Bryan's fired up. We go into this tag match later on. AJ Lee and Caitlyn. AJ Lee wins with the Black Widow submission. She retains. She wins the WWE Divas Championship match there. They both shake hands afterwards. We have the tag team title match. Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns win the championship. Kane took the pinfall here. Daniel Bryan's benefited from a hot new move. That was the comeback that he mentioned on the previous show. So Roman Reigns gets a spear. Close back and forth match in this. They went all out for it. Gets a 77, which is great rating for those guys. After the match, we've got a heel turn. Bryan helps Kane up. They both hug. Kane snaps, picks him up, turns it into a tombstone pile driver. Kane has been shown signs of his psychotic days from the past, and he leaves the ring, leaving Daniel Bryan there. Next up, we have Sheamus defeating the Brig Show with a brogue kick. That gets a 69 rating. Sheamus is standing in the WWE Championship storyline has grown. We have another good match. 82 rating. Randy Orton defeats Chris Jericho with a handful of tights. It gets an 82. After the match, Orton takes out Jericho and goes to get a chair to do his one-man concerto. Jericho manages to hit a low blow and a code breaker. Orton rolls out of the ring and escapes as Jericho is pissed. So is this story over or not? We shall see. Next up, we have CM Punk fired up backstage talking about his history with John Cena. He doesn't mention Heyman at once at all. Heyman's just sort of stood to the side. He wants to go out there tonight and prove why he is the best in the world. And that gets a 96, which is a great rating. Wow, another great match, an 88 here. John Cena defeats CM Punk and makes him say, I quit. Except he doesn't. Paul Heyman runs in and chucks a towel in, signaling the end. So CM Punk doesn't say I quit. Paul Heyman screws him over, which is reminiscent of what Owen Hart did all those years ago in the Bret Hart Bob Backlund match in the 90s. That gets an 88 rating. Obviously, I can't tell it to put that there. So that's what happened at the end of the match. We are not turning CM Punk babyface on this one, but I don't know. Actually, I'm going to have to because I didn't. Oh well, I've missed that now. I forgot to set the angle up. I knew I did for him to turn. Well, the angle didn't go down so well anyway. Must have burnt out the crowd, but I don't care. That match was amazing. After the match, CM Punk confronts Paul Heyman. He's fuming. He gets him by the collar. He's shouting at him, and Paul Heyman's laughing. And Punk realizes what's going on, turns around. He gets hit with an F5, and Paul Heyman is escorted away by Brock Lesnar. Both men happy with what they've done. CM Punk has left laying to end the show. So we get an overall 87 rating, which is amazing. I'm going to make a speech. So Brock Lesnar, great performance. CM Punk, praise for a great performance. John Cena, I'm not going to praise myself, although probably Triple H would. Lesnar's happy, Punk's happy, Cena's happy. So there we go, guys. I'll catch you up in a few seconds with the aftermath of Extreme Rules. Right, we're back. Let's go and investigate. Let's have a look. We got any messages? So the drugs tests, yeah. Viewing figures. We got 1 million viewers. I got a 2.0 for pay-per-view buys. Del Rio and Kofi need a rest, so I'll make a note not to use them on Raw. I'll probably forget, but let's have a look. So AJ is at 54. She's gone at 1. That's great. Del Rio is at 70, I believe. He's creeping up to 72. Alicia Fox is at 28. Haven't really been using her. Cesaro's still the same. Let's just change this to wrestlers. Big Show drops to a 69. Yeah, he was at 70. I'm not too worried about that. Big Show's at 41. It's time to put some younger guys over. Brock is at 85. There's a few 86s sneaking in there. That's great. Had that great match with Triple H there at Extreme Rules. Brodus not been really using in that you would see any. Same with Cameron. Jericho, I'm sure it jumped up to yeah, he's dropped back down to 77. I'm sure he went up to like 79. He probably has got morale issues because yeah, he's a bit irritated. He didn't want to lose to Orton, but unfortunately, it's Orton who's got the bigger picture going forward. Christian's injured. Punk's, I think he went up to an 84. He's back down to an 83, but was he an 82 in place? I think he started as an 82 though. He did, yeah. So he's still overall for the month. He's gone up a little bit. Cody's still at 55. Daniel Bryan, I believe he's dropped a bit, but he has been losing. But he is going to go and start going on a mega run. Yeah, he was at 76, but that popularity has been gone to good use. And like I say, Daniel Bryan, I should be able to get him back into the 80s. Well, get him up to the 80 popularity by SummerSlam because he's just that talented. Ambrose is getting up to 66. So these guys have jumped up. They were at 55, so they've gone up 10 points in a month with the booking. So and they're talented and they're good on the mic. Like Ambrose, Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, they will become the main eventers that they did go on to become. Ziggler's up to 75, which is great. He was at 70 to start with. Obviously, he's riding that wave of momentum. He's got the flavor of the month, so everything he does gets a bit of a boost. So the higher we can get that up, the better ratings he's going to get. I haven't done much with Drew. I keep saying that every time I look through it. There's loads of people I've not done a lot with. The Usos had gone up a bit. Cena's up to 85 now. He started at 84. He dropped because of him and Bryan lost to the Shield. He'd lost a bit of pop, but he's gone back up now, 85. Kane, I'm sure he was at 70 at the start. 67. Yeah, he's lost to Ambrose, and then they've lost the tag match there. So again, not concerned at all. It was planned. Knew it was going to happen. Kofi's up to 51 now, which is great. He's gone up one whole popularity this month. Mark Henry had lost. I'm trying to get his momentum back up. Yeah, he's still at 65. I'm sure he'd gone down, but he must have gone back up. Orton's gone up to 79, almost at 80. He was at 76 at the start, which is great. That's where I want him to be. And what's his personality? Prickly. Yeah, he's probably going to get annoyed if I don't get Bryan up to a similar level. Obviously, that plan is down the line. Rey Mysterio is still injured. Roman Reigns is up to 65, 66 in a little place there, which is great. I'm going to keep him teaming with Seth for a bit longer, obviously, before he gets a main event run that his stats obviously deserve. He needs to get that psychology up. Seth's up to 70. That's amazing. Yeah, Seth could still do with a bit more psychology. Is Ambrose's psychology? He's at 62 as well. Yeah, so we'll keep putting these in feuds with the top guys, and hopefully some of that psychology will pass on. Sheamus is up to 71. He was at 66 to start with, so that's great. Sheamus's momentum is warm. The Miz dropped to 66. Sure, he was at 70, but again, that was planned. Wade Barrett's at 66. I'm sure he was at 60, wasn't he? Yeah, so he's gone up. I'm sure he beat The Miz in a match, and that's why they are in a tag match, and that's why his popularity. So yeah, most of all guys, everyone is gaining in popularity. The storylines, obviously, I'm going to tweak these probably in the next episode. So we finished our contenders at 69 after the Sheamus Big Show match. The WWE Championships up to 87. The Tag Team Championships is at 77. The Legends storyline is at 89. Oh, the Intercontinental title is at 69, so it's just above the 65. Yeah, the Divas one's a bit of a push at the moment. So there it is. There we go, guys. Did you like the pay per view? I have changed it a lot to what Extreme Rules was, but there is some of the storylines WWE did that I'm going to keep, specifically around Daniel Bryan. So that should start linking in again soon. Just yeah, if you guys could like and subscribe the videos if you're into them, and I'll keep making content. I'm off work on Tuesday, so I'm going to try and get a couple of episodes recorded. But yeah, thanks a lot for all the views and all the support so far. It's been fantastic. I'm really enjoying it. So have fun, guys. Stay safe. Catch you later. Bye.